it differently every time. Right. First order of business is the approval of the agenda. This is the time if you wish to remove something from the consent calendar. Otherwise, I'm kind of explaining things to Marcy along the way. Otherwise, we don't have any discussion, and we just have resolutions or motions and then approval. May I have a motion to approve the agenda? And addendum. You know, I have it in red bold thing, and I knew you were going to have to say it. Motion, please. Maureen, second. Marty, any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. I have kind of a housekeeping type of a president's report. Again, welcome to Marcy to her first official, we call it sometimes the regular board meeting, sometimes we call it the business meeting, you know, as opposed to the workshop meetings. And please don't hesitate to ask any questions whenever. You certainly will have time tonight because Damon's not here, so you'll have time to ask questions.
That's on the official record.
I'd like to remind everyone that the discussion of items comes after the motions and not after the vote, because sometimes we do that, and yeah, and I don't know if it's really proper the way we do it, so just a reminder. Then I tried to clarify some of the agenda changes through an email to all of you. It was kind of a perfect storm of the agenda meeting this time. I was on vacation. Brett was on vacation. Pete, I guess, was on vacation or not.
I was derelict of duty.
Derelict of duty, which happens, never happens. So yesterday we tried to clear up some of the agenda. Okay, starting next month, I will again be asking you for your board activities, so that can be put into the minutes. And I'm going to try to send a form in email that you can just answer in reply, so I don't have like different scraps of what I get from different people. It might help me, who knows. Also, I suppose in September, probably more October, we'll place our goal review. Is that what we call it, Karen, the goals review section? And that would be to look at our district goals and see our progress that has been made or lack thereof. I'm hoping it's progress. And we'll try to put the area that or the goal that we will be looking at a month ahead, given a month ahead notice. And perhaps we will have just some information on progress, maybe a report. However, we've talked it over amongst ourselves, and we don't want these big productions. We don't want it to be a burden on people. Sometimes it can just be informational. Sometimes people have quite a bit that they would like to show, but it's not, and we want it to be very frank and really gives us information. And we're hoping to get our revised goals to you by tomorrow. Okay. And we have quite a long addendum tonight. And we know that this time of year, we get a lot of the hirees come through. But just to, and I've talked this over with Brett, and we're working on all this, just a reminder that it is difficult. First of all, it's difficult for our very efficient and capable board clerk. She feels responsible, for getting it to us in a timely fashion, and we know that she tries her very best. But it's also difficult for us to review. Maybe there are some problems that we see or just some corrections to do that when it has to be done so quickly. Understanding that this time of year, it happens. So,
Thank you.
okay, superintendent's report.
Thank you. First of all, welcome, Marcy. Welcome to our family, and we're excited to have you on board. And I also want to thank all the Board of Education for their commitment to our schools, to our children. You're really joining a wonderful team that is passionate about serving our students and our community. The hours, it's ours. It's, just this morning I was with, some board members talking about, in our weekly meeting, and it was a 2.5-hour meeting, and I appreciate your time, and that helps us focus and make sure that our vision, there's life into our vision. And Marilyn, you're talking about, as you continue as a board president, you're going to be sending out charts and trying to make things organized. And
yeah.
again, that's greatly appreciated.
It's my life's endeavor to get organized.
And that's going to help us all. And that's going to help us all. So I just want to say thank you all for your service and contributions. And I'm looking forward as we continue to build upon all the great things that we're doing here in year 2. I'd also like to publicly acknowledge all those support staff who are preparing for the school year. It's amazing our schools are starting to get in the tip-top shape, and the halls are starting to shine, and we start to see our halls start to fill with students and staff getting ready for the school year, parents walking in with family, with their children. It's starting to look a little bit like school. Fall sports are out and about. The buildings and grounds have been working diligently to make sure fields are prepared. It just takes an incredible team effort to get us going, and I'm really excited about the joys and laughters of September 7th. That's, of course, when school starts. New teacher orientation was kicked off today. Thank you for all the planning, Cass, and your team to make that a special event for our newest members, trying to indoctrinate them into, that's the wrong word, but I know you didn't like that word. So trying to share with them the passion of Fairport and let them get a sense of the heartbeat of what makes this community so special. That's the essence of what we're letting them know, that they've joined a Fairport family. On Monday, Pat Grow will be starting at JP. We're excited to welcome Pat from the Webster Central School District. He's very excited to start and make important contributions to the Fairport community. So that's going to be on Monday. And Webster's been a great partner, I might add, so he's been coming over throughout just so we can understand his new community. So Meredith Kloos, we're proud and excited to welcome her as part of the principal team in Fairport. She started actually on August 2nd, so thank you for that special accommodation of doing that at the workshop. So a lot of exciting things occurring in Fairport. I'm really proud of our administrative team, and the reason why I'm proud of them is, this past summer, they've embraced the vision that has been set forth, the goals that have been set forth, and the strategic plan that is sort of trying to bring those goals to life, and they're taking it to a new level. And the theme is narrowing the focus, so taking that big strategic plan and creating a task analysis that is easily understood to staff who are going to be implementing it. Again, our principals and our directors have been vital in creating plans that will work in the buildings, and our major initiatives from play-based learning to curriculum writing, for writing in the content areas and assessment practices. I am excited because it's going to be it's funny how you said that you're looking forward to getting board reports that are going to be practical, that's going to help you understand exactly the progress. Are we achieving our benchmarks in meeting goals? Well, we're creating those benchmarks. You're going to see those benchmarks in September, late September, early October at the latest, so you could see what's going to be reported to you and help us assess whether we're achieving or how close we are achieving our goals and expectations. Also coming in the future we are underway with a building condition survey. The building condition survey is so important. Ross Chula has been meeting with principals and architects to start assessing where we are, what we need to start focusing in on with our facilities. And that's going to be the basis as, again, we develop benchmarks for this year to understand where we are with our facilities. And from that building condition survey, eventually we're going to be doing an assessment on the health and safety of our facilities, the useful life of items within our facilities. So it's going to give us a great big picture along with a room utilization study, because we have declining enrollment in aging facilities, and we need to start having conversations and putting it in a way that's clear for the community to understand what we need to do to continue to provide the very best for our students. So I'm excited. We'll be hearing more about the building condition survey and our facilities planning as we move along in the coming weeks. Again, we talked about the time study at the board workshop. I'm excited to continue to roll up our sleeves and study even further how we can bring our vision to reality. And we haven't heard the last of those pieces. We're just using the information that we received from the transportation study, and now we're going to continue to come up with options so we can understand how we can achieve that goal. So that's all I have. Lots of excitement. I'm looking forward to the start of the school year, and the buzz is starting to come in the air. Thank you.
The treasurer's report.
Okay, good evening. The treasurer's report that we have is for the month end June 30, 2016. And we had a beginning cash balance of $52.37 million, total receipts of $5 million, disbursements of $20.26 million, for an ending general fund cash balance of $37.11 million. A couple of quick notes as we compare to last year. We'd expect this to happen. Our cash is down roughly about $8.9 million. Some key areas related to our capital reserve. We transferred $5.5 million out as approved by voters to fund the capital project. Our bus reserve, liability reserve, as we had the expenses throughout the year that were related to those pieces. The one piece, and that's simply because of timing, it won't change the cash, however, it reflects from last year's to this year's, is the ERS reserve, and that's the last piece as we close books, as we work with the auditors and get them the final figures. That figure itself will drop because that's the last piece that we will decrease the ERS reserve with the balance that we would need to come from there. So. You know, as you look at the July, when we have the July Treasurer's report, you should see that number drop on that piece. So, thank you.
Okay, the next order of business is the approval of the consent calendar. And do I have a motion, please? Joyce, second. Marty? All in favor? 6-0. Now, the personnel actions, the first instructional staff actions with addendum. Did I miss something? I sure did.
Consent calendar? Okay, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Okay.
I thought consent calendar was just a-
I didn't want my red marks to
Sorry.
fail me again. Okay. I like to be checked. Okay, so we're in personnel actions, and there was an addendum to the instructional staff actions. So I'm moving to page, am I correct? I'm on page 4 of 8. So may I have a motion for those? Marty? A second? Pete? Any discussion on those instructional actions? All in favor? 6-0. We have non-instructional and civil service staff actions, and that also has an addendum. And bottom of page 5 of 8, at least on mine. May I have a motion, please? Marty? Second? Maureen? Any discussion on those? All in favor? 6-0. The next order of business is a presentation on the 29.2 million capital project update.
If you take a look at what's been going around the district, you'll see all sorts of fun toys and construction vehicles moving forward. Matt and his team have done an incredible job of managing the many nuances of it, and Mark Esposito from campus is going to be here to talk a little bit about the progress that they've made to date.
Thank you very much. Mark Esposito, Construction Manager with Campus Construction Management. Yeah, blue light's on. Is that better? I can get louder. All right, so presentation. To give an update on the budget of the $29.2 million, we've broken it down into 4 categories. We have our incidental budget of $4,059,100, our construction contingency for the entire project of $1,754,000 that we'll be giving an update on the next slide. And then our 2 phases that we've broken this project into. Phase 1, which is the roofing project, that is currently ongoing. And Phase 2 are available funds for the project, the second half of the project that's been submitted to SED. That will probably be giving you an update here in the fall on the status of that because it's still under review there. So of the construction contingency, we had that credit change order that was approved back when the project was started for the vapor barrier. Correct. We're hoping to get another one of those right now. We're still in review of another potential one for the insulation, so you'll be able to see that in your issue log that you have here. But so that's increased our construction contingency to over $2 million on this project, putting us in a great place financially moving forward with this. As you can see, we're 41% complete with the project, working at all of the buildings so far this summer. Going to be getting into Balmer, and I got an update for that, but Balmer this fall. Doing a little bit at the high school to get expedited on that piece, getting ready for next summer, and the same thing at JA. So we're moving very well in the construction progress and showing that we don't have not spent any of our contingency budget. We're doing a very good job with the budget itself. And in the last bullet point, you can see that we're tracking another credit of a total, all the issues that are on our log, of over $200,000. So we are still looking to help the budget out by identifying areas in the construction project that we could save the district some money on, and working with the whole team in doing that. So there's a lot of good things happening out there in the project. Any questions with the budget? So I have a slide here just showing an update of where we are at all the buildings that we're working at. Working at Minerva, JP, Martha Brown, Northside and Dudley, Brooks Hill are really where our main focus is for this summer. And by the end of the month, we'll be substantially complete with the masonry restoration at all these buildings and along with the roofing. Working on some minor punch list stuff going into the fall, but really had a great summer for weather-wise to be working on roofing, which was great. And then we're able to actually expedite our masonry restoration. A little bit warm. So expedite our masonry restoration at Jefferson Avenue, the high school, and also going to be moving Balmer up a little bit. We've already completed the abatement on the roof this summer with anticipation once we get into the end of this month, beginning of September, to be able to go and work on that roof. So we're really working well along with our schedule construction-wise. And I have some photos here just to show you kind of things that we see up on the roof. So this is them working on the fascia installation, the metal pieces that are on the exterior roof that you can see when you're down on the ground. Some of the Dens deck material that gets installed over the insulation on the roofing itself. This is the flood coat and gravel that goes on top of the roof. So this is kind of your finished product that you see when you're up there or taking aerial shots of it. This is the stone ballast piece that's on top of it. The insulation that goes in there, we are adding 2 inches of insulation to get up to the new energy efficiency code that's required in New York State. So this is one of the reasons that helps us with the project and saves dollars on maintaining your heat and cooling within your building. flashing on the edges to make sure that we're watertight prior to the gravel that goes on there. So you see, make sure that it has multiple coats, make sure that it all is watertight. And this is some of the roof flashing that came through there, some masonry restoration, be able to tie in the flashing on this, and then it gets put back in, so we have a watertight wall also. And then I look at how they handle some of the roof coping, where we have roofs that are connect to each other, how they expand those over on expansion joints also. And then I look over at Dudley, where we full tear off, put down the new insulation, the Dens deck, and then they'll start applying the top coats onto this system for the built-up system itself. And you can see the insulation lower on the lower level where the little bit of a yellow line is, and then the Dens deck that goes on top of that. Any questions with the current $29.2 million project? Thank you very much.
No more buckets, did you say? Right. Right.
What is the plan? I guess I should ask a question. At Balmer, what are we doing for Balmer?
So, as far as right now,
Can't remember.
we committed to the roofs, and the roofs are being, are going to be part of the phasing of the project, right? And then the windows, we were not going to be doing the windows because of the dollars and the investment and the uncertainty of what we're doing with that in the future.
Just for the roof.
Yes, we're just doing the roof. We committed to the roof. So it was an infrastructural piece that needed to occur, whether we keep it or.
Probably
Whatever.
more
Yeah.
damage would happen to the building.
Yes,
if you
that
didn't.
was the essence of it, so.
Yep.
Lots of decisions to make in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, the next is the approval of the Board of Education building visits. May I have a motion? Okay. Second? Joyce? Discussion? All in favor? 6-0.
I was going to make a discussion, a question at least, if this refers to something later on. We have the new preschool program, and we once talked about wanting to take a visit. Our whole calendar is completely filled up.
Yeah.
So maybe next year, we would like to consider,
Yeah, we
you know, I don't know what the calendar looks like for anybody else. I know we're looking at this right now, but I know at one point we said we'd love to take a look at it, not the first year, because let's get them ready to go. But that was just one of the questions I had, but I'm sorry, I'm coming out of
Right.
timeframe.
Right.
I'm
But
talking
that's
after
when,
the fact.
it pops into your head then, so.
I think it's a great idea, and that's something that, you know, we can go over together, or, you know, we can do as.
Probably should do it in smaller.
That's what I'm saying, because
Not a
it's
big
daunting,
place.
yes.
It might be something
Have
you
you been
want to
there?
do just a
I
couple
have
people.
been there.
I'm going to put that down as one of our
Thoughts?
lists that we are creating to, okay, so preschool visit.
Just a thought.
Great idea.
My brain is coming back to work. It was gone for a while.
Not to worry. Okay, this next one, B, is Board of Education Policy Committee meetings. So these are all these calendar types of things. May I have a motion for that? Maureen, second. Joyce? Any discussion? Vote in favor? How many in favor? 6-0. The revised workshop calendar. May I have a motion, please? Joyce? Second,
Steve,
Mark?
get a chance to look at this and see it, because a lot of times he can't do things on Tuesdays, and we always get it on Mondays. And I just wanted to make sure that he had a chance to weigh in.
What
We
he's,
changed it for a number of reasons.
what he said is, the most important thing for him is to have the lead time.
Okay,
And, you know, sometimes it still doesn't work out, but
Right.
that is of the essence. The changes are difficult. so he said in the past.
I see, that was part of the conversation I missed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think I can speak for him on that.
See, I did my best to get in before.
You did, you did. Okay, so how many in favor? 6-0. Voting delegate and alternate for the NISBA annual business meeting. May I have a motion, please? Artie, second. Joyce? Any discussion? That's for Peter, Peter and Maureen.
I can see this one.
So you're the voting delegate this year, and Maureen is the alternate.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. All in favor? 6-0. Board policy second readings, interscholastic sports, naming district property and facilities, inspection, operation, and maintenance. May I have a motion, please? Maureen? Second. Joyce? Discussion. All in favor? 6-0. Agreement for professional consultant services. And this is the strong behavioral health. May I have a motion, please, for this? Marty? Second? Pete? Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. The joint fueling contract. May I have a motion, please? Maureen? Second? Marty? Any discussion?
When I read that, that was the last year's copy. We're just gonna change the dates and keep out all the other things the same, because I noticed Maggie Brooks was still the head of the
You-
county. And I
Correct.
said, oh,
Good
I think
for
we did
you.
good.
You caught that.
Yeah,
Good
it's
for you.
it's the first renewal of 3 of last year's contract. So last year, we did a contract that has the option for 3 renewals. So this is the first renewal.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor? 6-0. Okay, let's see. Agreement for universal pre-K with Generations Child Care. Motion, please. Marty, second. Joyce? Discussion?
Yes.
Brett, can you just remind us how many seats there are?
Right now, I believe there's 31 seats. 36. Was there 36? Okay, all right. 18 and 18. Okay, great, thank you. Appreciate
18,
it.
18.
Full?
They're full. They're full. I think the lottery was, it wasn't as big as it's been in past years, but it was still a lottery.
What was the demand overall?
The overall number, I think there was only an extra 4, was there?
Filled 12, and there are 4 on the waiting
Yeah,
list.
so there's 4 extra.
4 in the
Yep.
waiting
I think
list.
if we did it earlier, you'd have more people. People are afraid to wait since they can't get in. They cannot get in.
So explain that to me, Joyce.
The lottery happens late. Most people want to get their kids into a program and they're worried about waiting, because I know someone asked me about it, and when I explained it, she said, oh, I'm afraid to wait because if I don't. And I thought she'd have a good chance, English language learners and whatever, but she said, I need to.
So she wanted to
be
get
sure
someplace
that
for
my
her child.
has a spot. So if we could possibly move that date up, I think it would be helpful.
I could talk to Jeannie Harris. She's pretty responsive, but I think a lot of it has to do with their registration process too. But I could certainly put that out there to see if we can get it a few weeks sooner, if anything else.
I think that's true, because I know one of our priority populations is students with IEPs.
Yep.
But they really, if they're complicated, need to be sure of a space that can accommodate the child, so they're putting deposits on that in the spring usually.
I believe, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I kind of think this came up in the past, and I think when I remember Bill was talking about, how he was trying to push it sooner as well, but I just remember the paperwork and the red tape of it got in the way. But I could still ask and get clarification.
Because we should try and meet their needs the
Yes.
best that we can.
When this originally started, it was a 5-year grant from the state. And my question is, what year are we into? And at what point do we need to start pushing for the state to continue? Or, my understanding is that sometimes the state just continues once they've got something. The 5 years is a formality on this sort of thing. So what's happening to our budget implications of this? What year are we in the grant process? Any of that?
So year 3.
We're year 3.
We're in year 3. Yep.
So we've got this year and 2 more?
And 2 more,
And then?
as far as we know.
Is it too soon to start saying, hey, Albany?
So we met with one of the representatives late spring, and I asked that same question. And she was hopeful, because, I don't know, I know you are all aware of what's out there and the importance of early intervention, and the governor's commitment to providing the early intervention pieces, one of the things that we would applaud. So she was hopeful that that would continue, but she would no way make promises. So it's out there, that question of how do we continue to build upon it?
And expand.
That's, yes,
Is
there's
this
lots of
the
interest
only
in.
location right now that we have the?
In Fairport, yes. But the need is,
Bigger.
yeah. And I think if it was more reliable and more pervasive, you'd probably have more people take advantage of it.
But it's interesting from having looked at it, has to find the partners that meet the requirements of the state. Because having met with a lot of pre-Ks here 2 years ago, you know, many of them don't operate the hours, they have to have wraparound care and that kind of thing. So some of them here are just traditional 5 mornings, that won't work, if that's all they do.
I'm going to encourage people to use their microphones. Anything else? All in favor? 6-0. Approval of the 2016-17 tax warrant. May I have a motion for that? Pete? Second. Maureen? Discussion?
We got something with a blanket and on Star. Has that blank been filled in?
It has, yeah, there's a revised one
Okay, I
that you
missed
should have
that then.
received, yep.
So we
So
got
we
that.
received the STAR information yesterday, late afternoon, from the county. And if you all remember, it's a couple of pieces. It's the 2% cap on STAR reimbursement that plays a factor into that calculation for the state. Years ago, it used to be simple. We used to be able to take the basic exemption of 30,000, multiply it by the number in the district, and divide by 1,000 for the assessed value, multiply by the tax rate, and we'd have our STAR back and do that for the enhanced. But because there's a cap on the STAR reimbursement for homeowners, that reimbursement will only go up 2% over the previous year. So that means that homeowners are bearing that additional cost on theirs, which means the state is giving the county the calculation, which makes it a little bit more challenging for us to have the final numbers. But that was sent out, so you have the revised, and you should have all that information. You see, it's about $9.5 million of STAR reimbursement.
Which is down from last year?
I didn't
Showing-
compare, but it could be down, because also there's the STAR credit program that's in place for any homeowners that purchased their home after that was recently approved
they
in
pay
the
all
state
of
budget.
theirs.
So then any of those homeowners that would have gotten the STAR rebate last year on their school tax bill now have to apply for a credit, and that check will get issued by the state.
So that doesn't necessarily impact us, it's just where is it coming from? We might actually get our money a little sooner. When do we normally get STAR?
STAR comes later, so the answer would be if homeowners are paying their tax bill by
On time.
October, then the tax bill, instead of it being, just give an example, instead of it being a $3,000 tax bill minus $600 roughly of basic STAR, it would be a $3,000 tax bill to us, and they get their $600 from the state.
Yeah.
So we would get the money sooner, most
Yeah.
likely,
Looks-
unless those folks are ones where we would get it would go through the re-levy through the county, and we get that money in not till April.
Right. 'Cause it looks like, in what you posted, that STAR is going down by 226,000.
It makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the levy itself is going down? Just
The rate.
slightly? The levy rate, right?
The rate.
Yes, that's what I
yes.
meant. I meant the rate.
Yes, the rate. That's because we had a large increase in assessed value. So there, I talked to the assessor, some reassessments as well as new properties. So
So the
it's
rate
growing.
goes down, but your value goes up, you're probably going to get a larger bill anyway, right?
If you were reassessed, yes.
you were
But if you weren't
reassessed, right.
reassessed, then And, no, so, yeah, so that's good news. I think it was about 53 million, roughly, is what
Oh, in
our
terms of assessed, right.
assessed value.
Yeah. I lost that line. Yep, 51.5 million in assessed value
Yep.
increase. So. Okay.
All in favor? 6-0. Okay, the 11.2 million capital project architectural engineering services. Motion, please. Marty, second. Maureen. Discussion? Questions?
Was this put out as an RFP, or is it just something that we, because we've worked with Abella for so long, that it became something that we did? Or was there other bids sought?
So we negotiated this contract with Labella.
We negotiated,
Yeah,
okay.
if you remember, an RFP was done a few years ago, I believe just before I joined the district.
I do remember, but I don't remember all of the.
Correct. So our RFP was done a few years ago, and we negotiated this, this contract with them for the transportation.
Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor? 6-0. Another 11.2 million capital project construction management services. Motion, please. Joyce, second. Marty. Discussion?
There's two different numbers here. One is 470,000 and the other is 11.2 in the title.
The 11.2 million is the transportation facility project, not to exceed amount that was voted on by the taxpayers, and the $470,000 is the contract with campus construction.
Okay, that's
Yep.
the whole
Campus
project versus the part
construction.
we're
Yeah,
approving
it's just
today.
labeled as, both of them are labeled as the
I
$11.2
saw
million
two different
project.
numbers, and that's why I was wondering.
Yep,
Okay,
just so we
thank
can
you.
identify which project that this contract is related to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right on the ball, Maureen.
Told you I
You
would.
got it, yeah. All in favor? 6-0. Okay, the transportation contract, motion, please. Marty, second. Joyce. Discussion? Go for it, Maureen.
Don't have any questions. Except I did tell you guys not to have any homeless students in this district, and you just ignore me every year. So
Boy,
try
I
and work on
really
this,
would
please.
like to see that happen.
I know, but I just think, no, I don't want to have any homeless students in the district. Give them all a home. But that's a whole other issue.
All in favor? 6-0. And the next order of business is a proposed executive session discussing contract negotiations and employment of a particular employee. And there may be a third area there that
Yes.
was left out. Yeah.
Well, it's part of that.
Was part of that, okay.
B.
Part of B. Okay, so we are inviting Brett, Kate, Matt to this session. May I have a motion, please? Pete, second. I think I saw Joyce's hand up. Any discussion on this? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, we'll go into executive session.
Before we do, can I just say thank you for all your support